Yes, once the pandemic is over and we have currently the status going on in communication, when can we meet offline again? I have so far no confirmation from the library where we usually meet in the city center that we can be able to meet live again. And that was something which Rami also contacted me. Rami, please excuse me for not answering you. I have you on the agenda, but totally dropped out of live because my renovation workers just left my flat without finishing my shower and toilet. So we're in extreme mode. That's why my communication was down to zero with a lot of my projects. But that's, apart from that, very good that I see you here. So you find the way to the online meeting as well.
Thank you. Thank you. No worries.
Yes. Once we have the confirmation from the library that we can meet, obviously we'll announce that and make it happen. We have the Moscow officials also running for their official visits because they need to make some tour. They like to visit each other as well. So they contact me as well. I send them all our details that we cannot have offline meeting officially, okay? Our official offline meetings is not possible. So maybe we can run some after work party meetings for chatting, for socializing, because a lot of people, me included, want to meet. But officially we can't enter the library. Unfortunately, this is the case. I don't know what's the situation in Moscow, because the people are very actively meeting. Some are talking about hybrid meetings. For everyone who's not aware of this fact, a hybrid meeting is something when we have an offline meeting, a real life in-person meeting. And on top of that, we have a live stream to the world so that everyone can join online. I haven't yet participated in such a venue, but I've read in our group chat for other Toastmaster clubs that some clubs are running a test, I think this week or the upcoming week.
And
I might probably find another location.
So yeah, Nasya, you think we should find another location?
We could try.
Yes, we could try. That's always good to have a plan B and C. I'm going to be honest with you. My concerns reading the newspapers that the amount of people being infected in St. Petersburg is now back to where it left. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same. But yeah, this is definitely a discussion to go for. Maybe we can just find a bar or an open space place, something like that, because there's a lot of adaptation going on in the whole RECA business, hotel, restaurant, and catering business, where you have, even if you don't have the possibility to go inside, people join outside, gather in front of this location and being served and so forth. So yeah, definitely could check this out. Or maybe some co-working spaces who could offer some plan B options for now.
Walter, can we just check with Konstantin if his audio is okay? Konstantin.
Hi, Konstantin. You want to say some words so we can double check if your tech is working? You're muted so far.
Konstantin, you're muted. Unmute.
Okay. How can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes, that's good.
Awesome. Hey guys.
Konstantin, you're in St. Petersburg?
Yes, I am.
And you were a Toastmaster before?
Yeah, I used to be a Toastmaster in Manila club. My previous club was called Toastmasters Tops Club. It was located in Manila, in Makati. It's a business center of Manila. Yeah.
Oh, in Manila. Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
I owned it for 1 year.
Brilliant. Okay, let me double check the time. It's overtime already for the general evaluator 1405.
I have a small query if you admit this.
Who's that speaking?
Cedric.
There's no timer.
Yeah.
One small thing, like since I'm the timer, the things which we follow here are like 4:30 is qualification and 7:30 is disqualification for a 5 to 7 minutes. So I just wanted to confirm, do you follow that or you follow 5 as qualification and 7 as disqualification?
We do.
7:30. 7:30.
7:30. 7:30.
7:30 is your qualification.
7:30 finished. Yeah.
And for the qualification, the minimum.
Yeah, 5 to 7 with a 30-second grace period.
Sure.
And for table topics, the same. If it's 30 seconds, more than 30 seconds over, then disqualified.
And one more question before we start, Walter, and I know we're a minute or two late, but it's my fault. When we do the speeches and table topics, is this club doing table topics first or speeches first?
But our agenda is we always have the speakers first.
Okay, and what's the agenda?
Speaker, 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 break, then table topics after the
Got
break.
it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did we have the chance to publish the agenda?
I'm just publishing it again right now. Just
Cool. Yeah. Michael, if you want, you can double check the agenda as it is from the chat.
No problem.
Okay. Good. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick it off now with 1407. I highly welcome you on behalf of the Toastmasters St. Petersburg International, as I always used to say, club. I'm very glad to be back because last time I didn't actually participate due to the reasons which I've named. And always nice to see people and always wanting to touch you somehow physically, but unfortunately not yet. I'm going to kick off this meeting with introducing Michael Wader, who is going to be our Toastmaster for today. Michael is a super experienced speaker, manager, leader, human, boy, man, husband, friend, and human. That's why I'm very glad to hand over to him. After the last note that after the meeting of today, we would have a couple of minutes chat for the members to pick up some organizational points. So just in case you have maybe 5 to 10 minutes to stay on board. Apart from that, all to you, warm welcome. And Michael, stage is yours.
Very good. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate it. Thank you for your introduction. I'm not sure I'm all the things you described me to be, but most of them. So that's okay. That's just fine. We have to make sure that people remember what's going on. Welcome, everyone. We're going to have a good day today. We're going to hear some people give some speeches. We're going to do table topics. We're going to hear the speeches evaluated. And we're going to be taking a very short break in the middle. Some clubs do, some clubs don't. We found that in Russia here, we like to take breaks in the middle. Not long, but enough time to grab a tea or take care of whatever is necessary. So that's sort of where we're headed for today. Now, my job as a Toastmaster is that I have to do an awful lot of introductions. So I'm going to introduce a lot of different people, and I'm going to start by doing it now. And first of all, I'd like to introduce our general evaluator. Today, our general evaluator is Olga. And Olga, will you give us just a quick 30-second overview as to what the general evaluator's duties are for today?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. All right, so general evaluator, I'll be looking out for how the meeting runs, whether it runs smoothly, whether we're sticking to time according to the agenda. And I'll also be introducing the general evaluator, the evaluation team. Would you like me to do that now? I might run over 30 seconds, but.
No, that's fine. We'll do that. We'll do that after the speeches.
All right.
Okay, so she's going to be our overall evaluator, and everybody needs to have some kind of evaluator, because if we don't, we find we do things we shouldn't be doing. But if we have an evaluator watching us, we're kind of watching our P's and Q's and doing this a little bit better. Today, our grammarian is going to be Walter, and I'd like to introduce him early because he's our grammarian with a word, and I'd like to see how many people today are going to be able to use his word, because his word is a little bit challenging to use. So Walter, will you please give us the word of the day, please?
Yes, dear Mr. Toastmaster, the word of the day is avarice. Maybe you would give me a response who is aware of the fact what the word means, except the native speakers, please. Avarice. Does anyone know it? Then raise your hand, except the native speakers. No, that's good, actually. Okay, I'm going to show you. Avarice is the word of the day. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can see this. It means immoderate desire for wealth. If you want a lot of money and this is your value above everything else. So an immoderate and inadequate desire for wealth. An example, he doesn't love you, honey. His eyes are full of avarice. Okay? Now, task for you is to use this word throughout your speeches, your thoughts, your Toastmasters, your evaluation speeches, your table topics, yeah? So wherever you want to use it. And I'm going to count the amount of money, the amount of money. I'm going to count the amount of money. This is a Freudian speech in the back of your head. Avarice, the word of the day, your task to use it, and my task to count it. Apart from that, me as a grammarian, I'm going to have a look about what kinds of words you use, what kinds of spelling you use, and also to see what you don't use. For instance, some words you repeatedly do, such as like, as, and so forth, which can be probably enhanced. And also try to find out some filling words, which sometimes we rate in terms of R's and M's and M&M's and so forth. Your task to focus and get rid of it so that people are likely to hear and follow you. My task to check the grammar. Thank you. Back to Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Walter. Very good. Alexander Kim, can you tell us a little bit about what the R counter is going to do today?
I suppose we have changes and our account will introduce himself.
Konstantin is the R counter.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Konstantin is the R counter.
I guess I'm an R counter, right? For the day.
Konstantin, you're taking, okay, all right. My mistake, I just was going according to what we had on Easy Speak. So Konstantin, can you tell us a little bit about what the R counter does?
Yeah, greetings, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I guess we don't have any guests today, but the purpose of our counter is to note words and sounds of the which I used as a crutch or pause filter by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen and for overused words such as am, well, but, so, and, you know, and I will listen for pause fillers such as and so on. I will note when then speaker repeats a word such or a phrase such as I or this means, and then on the end of the meeting I will give you my report. So how many phrases or filler words you have been expressed. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Konstantin. Thank you. So I guess I did not get the latest change, but for the Quizmaster, I have Elena. Is someone else a Quizmaster now? Is that changed? Quizmaster? No? Still Elena?
Yes, I am Quizmaster.
Okay. Elena, what are you going to do as a Quizmaster?
Oh, I will make nice questions and I will ask you about things that you hear and might notice.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And Alexander, if I got it right, you're going to be taking care of our ballot counting today. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. As a ballot counter, I will count votes for today. And at the end of our meeting, I will give a report of who was chosen as the best speaker, best evaluator, and best impromptu speaker as well.
Very good. Thank you. And our table topics master is Randall. And Randall, if you just talk a little bit about what you're going to do. Don't tell us the program, but just tell us a little bit about what you're going to do.
Okay, Michael, so today I'm going to be the table topic master of the day, and I'm going to take you through an exhilarating session of impromptu speaking that will immediately follow our break.
All right, super. Looking forward to that. That sounds exciting to me. Now, as Toastmaster, normally the job is to do a little bit of introductory to the day. And today's theme is Smile Removes Barriers. Now, we're gonna play a little bit of a game here, and we're gonna go through a little contest, and I'm gonna explain what I'm talking about. I'm gonna take over the screen for a moment here. See if I can find where I need to go. Screen saving, not good. Not good, not good, not good, not good. All right, where's the screen saving? Hold on.
Screen sharing, the green button.
Yeah. I got the green button, but I need to make sure I got the because I changed it. You asked me to find out something, so I did that. We're okay. We're all right. All right, here we go. Got the green button, screen share. Got the smiles.
Yeah,
got the package.
Looking good.
Yeah, got the package. Yeah, smiles remove barriers. And this is something that is very, very important. And especially as a Toastmaster, and it's even more important as a Toastmaster now that we're in online situations. I don't know what you have done for yourself to help you to smile, but for me, on the top of my laptop, I had got a banner in big bold letters that says SMILE to remind me to smile. Because what I have found in my appearances online, many people tell me, Michael, when you're speaking, you should try to smile a little bit more. It makes you a little bit better. People like to see you smile. Well, I don't smile a lot, but I have to practice smiling. So I got to remember that smiles remove barriers. It's something that we absolutely need to make sure that we don't ever forget, because it's easy to forget that and we don't want to. So now I'm going to stop this for just a second, and I'm going to ask people. I'm going to name you and give you some positions, and then we're going to play just a little game to see how you respond. Listen up for the name. This is our first team one. Team one is going to be Walter, Vlad, Valeria, Anastasia Lukina, Bimal, Rami, and Savik. You are our team number one, okay? So you guys are in team number one. Team number two is our general evaluator, Olga, Elena, Anastasia Lur, Caleb, Alexander Kim, our Connor Constantine, Shinsaku, is that correct? Yes, Shinsaku, and Randall. You're team B, you're the second team. So we got one team and two teams, right? Okay. What I need for everybody in the group to turn off your microphone. Everybody turn it off. There should be all microphones showing. Everybody's turned off. We got that? All right. Now, team number one. That's the team Walter's on. All those folks is Walter, okay? I want you to close your eyes. And I want you do not open them until I tell you, okay? So close them now. Open your eyes. Okay, you got that? All right, team number two. When I tell you, I need you to close your eyes, and then I need you to open your eyes. So close your eyes now. Team number two, close your eyes. Open your eyes. All right, so everybody knows the exercise. That's all you have to do. Now I'm going to show you something on the screen, and it's important that when I tell you to close your eyes, you keep your eyes closed until I ask you to open it. It's going to be important. Otherwise, this exercise is not going to work. But I think you're going to see something very impactful if you follow the guidance. Okay? So I'm going to go to screen share. I'm going to go back to my original slide. And don't close your eyes yet. We're not there yet. I want to talk just a little bit about smiling. You know, if you're online, it is important that you smile. The people, they can't see your legs, they don't see the whole room, but they see your face. And if you smile and look pleasant, they're happy. It makes them happy. They're going to listen to you more intently if you are smiling. Even when we talk about families, in the family situation, in your home, with your children and your spouses and your friends, if you are smiling, you are received more. You are accepted into the group more if in fact you are smiling. If you're angry and got a hard face, people don't want to be around you. And when we take this to work, if you're a supervisor or a leader and you want to get more done, you need to make sure you're smiling. Do not be walking around with a sad, long face. You need to smile, okay? Now, I need everybody in the room, everybody that's online, group A and group B, group 1 and 2, both groups. I need both groups to close your eyes. Please close your eyes and don't look, for everybody. Okay? Walter's group, group 1 or group A, open your eyes. Now, you see the picture on the screen, only the first group. I want to know, don't tell me right now, because I'm going to ask you, what is your initial impression when you see this person? What is your initial impression when you see this person? Think about that. Okay, group number 1, Walter's team, close your eyes again. Close your eyes again. Group number 2, open your eyes. Group number 2, open your eyes and look at the screen. Look at what you see there. I need for you to think about what is your initial impression when you see this screen? What is your initial impression? Okay, group number 2, second group, close your eyes again. Now, everybody, open your eyes. Everybody, open your eyes. I gave you 2 different pictures. Now, I'm just kind of curious, and you can turn on your microphones because I'm going to ask you here in just a moment. You see the same person, the same man. One place he is not smiling. He's not looking angry, but he's not smiling. And the other one, he is smiling. But when you saw him for the first time, it made an impression on you. And we need to think about what is that impression. So let's start with Walter's group first. Civic, what was your impression when you saw the first person?
Someone whom we can't trust. Like a smile gives a sense of oneness to us. So, and the first picture, the person wasn't smiling. So he's someone. It's an outsider. He's not giving a trust feeling to me that I can go and talk to him.
Okay, Anastasia Lear, what did you think about what was your impression?
My first impression was to smile back.
Okay, all right, very good, very good. And Constantine, what was your first impression?
Yeah, I would rather smile back too, because then the person smiles at me, it touches something inside of me, and I want to smile back.
Okay, all right. So now let's talk to some of the people in the other group. Caleb, what was your impression when you looked at it?
I didn't even know which group I was in, but I think because my eyes was on the whole session, so I think that the guy who smiled had a more positive aura. You know, he had a more positive outlook already.
Yeah, but what about the negative person? How about Valeria? Valeria, you looked at the negative one. What did you think?
Nothing good.
Nothing good, absolutely. Randall, what did you think when you looked at, what was your impression?
I saw the smiling guy. I thought he just had a baby. I mean, his wife just had a baby.
Okay. Shinsaku, did you see the smiling one or the not smiling one?
I saw the smiling one. It's
okay.
Quite the impression. So because if both it's a totally different situation, totally different atmosphere. Quite complicated for me.
Okay. Okay. The people on the screen have moved positions on me, so I lost a little bit of count of who saw the positive and negative. How about somebody else to speak up who saw the negative, who saw the angry? Okay, Vladimir.
I was a little bit of like afraid of him, or saying, I don't want to deal with this person. Maybe it's a stereotype because of his skin color as well, but I kind of associated him with somebody from a poor country who had a very poor life and a very hard life, and is probably desperate. And if you meet him in a dark alley, he would probably, well,
yeah, we don't know. Negative impression.
This was the impression that is someone who had a very hard life and someone who would not hesitate because of that to take stuff from. Okay. That was my first impression, first second.
Right. Right, first second. Elena, did you see the negative one or the positive one? Elena?
I saw positive one.
Okay. Who else saw the negative one? Anybody raise your hand?
I did.
Rami, what did you think?
Well, I thought that it's a little scary, and he looked angry and trouble.
Yeah, okay, it looks like trouble. What I'm trying to point out here is that this is the exact same person. Within a few seconds of each other, they took the two pictures. First, he took a picture of him, they told, don't smile. No, he didn't look mad, he just didn't smile. But he looked very rough, he looked very ominous, it looked like we're not going to be safe with this person. And then they asked him to smile and make a big grin. And when he did, the rest of you saw somebody who was happy, somebody who you wanted to smile back. There are many things that we can be learning about smiles. Now, I've got one more slide I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to give you a few more words before we actually get into the rest of the items. Just so you can see it again, that's what the two pictures were like. Same guy, not smiling and smiling. Now, you may not know it or not, but it takes 62 muscles to frown. To make a sad or ugly face takes 62 muscles. It only takes 26 muscles to smile, so it's less effort to smile. Smiles not only offer a good mood boost to you, but also they reduce the blood pressure. They increase people's physical endurance. It reduces pain, and I really like that one because I hate to get a shot or have doctor work on me, and whenever they do, I just start laughing and smiling, and the doctor always looks at me strange. But it reduces pain to smile. It reduces stress, and it strengthens the immune system if you are smiling more. These are important things that you need to think about. Not everybody thinks about them. And we also found out from statistics, and I did some research, women smile more than men. Hey guys, we got to smile a little bit more. You know, whenever we meet somebody, if they're the opposite sex of a woman, we have a tendency to smile. But when we meet our friend, our other man friend, we have a tendency to not smile. We need to smile a little bit more. People who smile are considered to be more confident. They know what they're doing. Also, there's some studies that say smiling makes you look younger. You want to look younger? Do a little smiling. It's going to help you. Also, the doctors who look at brain waves have found out that when people smile, endorphins start running through the brain, and it actually improves our mood and our overall health by smiling. These are good things. Important to me, they found out that people who smile more live longer. I'm getting older, I want to live longer, I'm going to start smiling more. These are all little things that we can think about as we go through life. So today, in our table topics and in our speeches and in our evaluations, I hope you try just a little bit to smile just a little bit more. And you're not smiling because of an orifice. If you were full of money and rich, you may be smiling all the time, but if you're not, that's all right. You don't have to be rich to smile, but if you are in an orifice position, you're ahead of the rest of us, and you can go right ahead and smile till it hurts. Keep smiling. Okay, that's a little bit about the topic of the day and where we're headed. We have 3 speakers today. Let me find my sheet here.
That's correct, yes.
Oh, we've been having 2 for a long time. So now we got 3 speakers today. Okay. Our first speaker is going to be Anastasia Lukina. She's going to give us a speech that is entitled, What I Have Learned After 30 Days of Taking a Cold Shower. This is part of her leadership development and is number 2, speech 1, Managing Time. She's going to present a speech on a topic using an effective management strategy. That's what she's supposed to accomplish today. So, if Anastasia, are you ready?
Ready?
Okay. So, it's going to be Anastasia Lukina with What I Have Learned After 30 Days of Taking a Cold Shower. What I Have Learned After 30 Days of Taking a Cold Shower. Anastasia Lukina.
Thank you, Michael. So this is my 3rd attempt to introduce the cold shower into a habit. The last 2 times I miserably failed, but I think this time I have finally succeeded. I started this journey because I read that taking a cold shower is one of the natural ways to prolong life. Despite smiling, also taking a cold shower is also a great way to live longer and be happier. So what I've learned, the first thing I have learned that it's a great exercise for willpower. Every morning when I wake up after being under soft, warm blanket, and when I go to the shower enclosure, it's so hard to turn the lever cold. I was very anxious for the first 10 days, but then my partner, who used to swim in Baltic Sea in December, said a very wise thing. It doesn't matter if you are afraid or not, because you will do it anyway. And it worked. When I realized that I will do it anyway, the fear just disappeared. And I started to use that attitude in other aspects of my life. So the second thing I learned is from scientific study, which was done by Nikolai Shevchuk, PhD. He concluded that the cold shower, if taken every morning from 2 to 3 minutes, can be a potential treatment for depression. I will quote the saying from his study. Due to the high density of cold receptors in the skin, a cold shower is expected to send an overwhelming amount of electrical impulses from peripheral nerve endings to the brain, which could result in an antidepressive effect. In other words, endorphins, which also called happiness hormones, are released in a great amount, and it leads to feeling of well-being and optimism. I can prove that as well. Every time after cold water session, I feel energized and very optimistic about the new day. So the third thing I have learned is also from scientific study, which was done in the Netherlands during epidemic which called influenza. It was in 2015, and 3,018 people were enrolled in that test, and they were divided into 4 groups. The first 3 groups were told to take a shower for 30, 60, and 90 seconds. And the 4th group was told to take only a regular warm shower. The results were astonishing. The sick leave dropped by 29% compared to the group which did not take a cold shower. It means that exposing your body to the cold shower releases a great amount of white blood cells, which are responsible for protecting your body from infectious disease and also from foreign invaders. So the cold shower strengthens your immune system and makes you to live longer. In conclusion, I would like to say that I learned, first of all, that the cold shower, if taken every day, increases the willpower. The second of all, it boosts your immune system and also makes you feel happier because of endorphins. If you would like to try to take a cold shower, I would like to give some tips to you. The first thing to bear in mind, you have to go to see your doctor in order to check if your cardiovascular system is all right. And the second thing I would like to add that start gradually. Don't just jump into cold water. Start with your arms and legs. Also use timer. Start with 10 seconds and you can increase it every day. Also, you can try different styles. For example, I like contrast shower. 30 seconds of warm water and then 90 seconds of cold water. And the last thing I would like to add is to turn your music on. Dance and enjoy of getting healthier and happier. Thank you.
I don't know how much longer I have to live, but maybe I should start taking a cold shower also. Maybe that's going to help me even live longer than what I was planning to live, which is still a long time. But it's interesting. I'm an old military man, and I'm not used to taking cold showers, but I'm used to taking a 30-second shower. 30-second showers are also helpful in and out very quickly, very efficient, without standing underneath water for a long time. So I might try the cold one. That might be interesting. Okay. Moving on, our second speaker. By the way, I did not see the timer make a signal, but you were tracking. Is that correct, Sabik?
Yes, I'm tracking. I'll give
Okay,
a report.
that's fine. I just didn't, that's fine. Okay. Our second speaker is going to be Valeria Kapchiva. Yeah, she's going to do the Egyptian dance there for us in a moment. The title of her speech is Survival Guide for Asian Body Language. She's working in the presentation mastery. This is speech level 2, speech 1, effective body language for 5 to 7 minutes. She's supposed to choose a topic that lends itself to expression through movement and gestures. She's supposed to deliver a speech containing practiced and refined nonverbal communications. Valeria, are you ready? She's ready. Okay. So Valeria Kapchiva, excuse me, I'm sorry. Survival Guide for Asian Body Language, Valeria Kapchiva. Valeria Kapchiva, Survival Guide for Asian Body Language.
Ooh, hello, everyone. Dear members, fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to the Survival Guide for Asian Body Language. But actually, I was wrong from the first minute when I put the name of this presentation, because I was living only in South Korea for 5 years and I don't really know other Asian countries' body language. So it will be mostly about Koreans' body movements around foreigners. First of all, I know that a lot of people knows that in Asian countries, people bowing to each other when they greeting each other. But did you know that when you're bowing, you need to know the perfect angle of bowing? The angle is showing the respect to the person to whom you're bowing. For example, if you're meeting with a guy or girl only 1 year older, or just colleague in your workspace, you just can nod like hi, whatever. Or if it's your friend, you just like, come on, let's go. You don't need to do anything. But attention, when you meet your boss or your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, 90-degree bowing, like you just crack your back and you need to check all the ends around your shoes. And you need to tell your mother-in-law how you're happy to meet her, for example. Second thing which I want to tell you about in Asian body language, okay, not language, Korean body language. Koreans mostly thinking that all foreigners are open-minded. So for example, when you're traveling to the Korea, they think that all foreigners outside of Korea, they are open-minded, but they're thinking strange about this word. So they're thinking not open-minded, they mean it that it's open body. What can you think about it? So they think that everyone touch each other in foreign countries. So when they meet you for the first time, they can, start to touch you like, oh, hi, how are you? What are you doing? Take your hands like this and start to touch your hair or even face. And they say like, oh, you're looking so good and your skin so white. But the most big problem in all of this, they think that they can smash your butt also. And it's okay thing in foreign countries by their thinking. So if you don't want to feel that all things, or for example, you're not okay with this, you're stressing out about touching in Asian countries, you need just to tell it to the person, because if you will not do it, even if you're okay with that, they will do the same thing to next foreigner after you. And if it will be a girl, it will be more worse than it could be. third thing, which I want to tell you, which I met in Korea, and it was kind of surprised for me and weird. I don't know why. It's a small thing, but I was really surprised. So, for example, when you're really sad, and you want to get comfort from someone, you're usually asking, like, for example, hug, or, you know, like just tapping you, or sorry, petting, mixing, sorry. But usually in Korea, they start to tap you, like, you know, like this. And for me, it's like mother singing a lullaby song or trying to make you fall asleep. And I'm always feeling strange, like I'm not a baby, why are you doing to me? And I'm more convenient with this kind of movement. And for example, if a guy doing for you this one, you're feeling like he's your daddy, and it's more strange. So you're like meeting with your daddy. It was a last thing for Korean body language guide. And I hope for the next year, when you will travel around Asia, you will be not surprised when you can see something like this. And altogether, just remember that you need to find your angle with the new person when you meet. And also make sure to put borders for your body, to ask people not to touch you or whatever. And to not forget that instead of petting, you will get tapping. Pam, pam. Be prepared to the Asian adventures. Thank you.
On most of those, Valeria, that you are correct. I've got almost 18 years of living and working in Asia, so it actually is different from Korea to Japan to China. There are little differences, but you're right. You go there, you're going to have to be ready for things to be done differently. Just like people who've never been to Russia before, when they come here, we find things are done a little bit different. Thank you very much. Enjoyed your speech. All right, our third speaker today is going to be Anastasia Lear. She's going, her title of her speech is Communication with Different Types. This is part of the Dynamic Leadership Level 2 Speech 2, Understanding Your Communication Style, 5 to 7 minutes long. The purpose is to share a communication. It's okay. You're eager, girl. That's all right. That's fine to be eager. No problem. The purpose of her speech. The purpose of her speech is to share a communication style and its impact on professional and personal relationships. She should avoid reporting on just the content of the project. Okay? She asked me to give an introduction. She says, I'm going to tell you about a book by Isaac Adiz, How to Communicate with Different Styles of Leaders. So, Anastasia Lear with Communications with Different Types. Communication with Different Types, Anastasia Lear.
Strong connection between leadership and communication styles always admires me. Here is an example. A manager has to deal with many different people, and he's supposed to find the right approach for all of them whenever he motivates and his employees or persuades his boss. And here's where communication style is important. Today, I'm going to tell you about the book Leading the Leaders by Isaac Adiz. You might have heard about the author as he wrote some books of management and leadership. In that book, he divides the leaders into 4 groups based on their main function and calls that PAEI system. P is for producer. That's basically the person who accomplishes most of the tasks. A is for administrator. That's like your accounting department. E is for entrepreneur. That's the person who generates new ideas. And I is for integrator. That's this person is responsible that there are no conflicts in the team. In the book, there are no specific instructions how to define your style. However, later I found a test on internet which may help you to define your style. But not like while reading a medical book, you may apply all the diseases and illnesses to yourself. I managed to easily define my type, and that's the producer, the P type. And I must say that I consider that book as my mentor, because after reading that, I managed to analyze my typical behavior patterns. I managed to realize the mistakes I made, to find the alternative ways how to behave on my workplace, and got a room for improvement. Let me give some examples. As a producer type, I'm bad at delegating. So I try to accomplish most of the tasks by my own, and I have never thought of the bad consequences of that. My employees don't have an opportunity to grow if I accomplish all the tasks by my own. And if I don't spend time explaining them how to manage a certain task, they will not help me in the future. And again, I cannot delegate this task to them. They don't have the necessary skills. Since I'm busy with the current task, I may forget about the global tasks and the global goals. And that's important to keep in mind the global goals, as focusing on them, you may understand that some of the current tasks are not relevant anymore. I might find some meetings boring, as I probably need to accomplish some current tasks, and I may keep silent during these meetings, but I have never thought before how other managers may interpret my silence, and that's what I need to pay attention. Why people keep silent, and what are the internal reasons of that? So those were some advice given by Itzhak Adizes to the producer type, and which I find relevant to myself. Now, let me emphasize what I find really important in the book. It's Adizes also gives the recommendations how to communicate with the different types, and you might have done it unconsciously. For example, if you need to give a presentation, if you want to persuade your boss to share your new idea, and if you think of the personality of your manager, you know that you need to prepare more numbers and facts for one manager, and for another, there is a different approach. He will agree with you first, but then he will forget about this agreement. So that's where you need to adopt your communication style. What I find really curious in that book is that the word no means different things to different people. For example, for me, for the producer, we see the word only in black and white. And we always want to know, is it yes or is it no? And that's the constant. We don't know how to persuade a person. We don't know why the person agreed with us or disagreed. Administrator type, in case they say no, that means I need to have more information to agree with you. So you can persuade such person by providing more details. And the entrepreneur type, they don't want to lose any single opportunity. That's why they would first agree with whatever you say, and then they will just forget about that, and they will never give it a go. And whenever they decide to say no, that means that's a constant. They will never change their decision, and if you try to persuade such person, they would probably get angry, but not change their mind. So why, in general, do we need this PAPI system? Because of the great idea of Adizes. In classical management, there's supposed to be just one manager, and he's supposed to be a great one to accomplish all the tasks. And Adizes says that the leadership structure is supposed to have few managers, so few people, and each of them can do one task, can make one function perfectly, and the other three on an average level. And the collaboration of those managers is the key to success. And that's why it's very important for them to communicate with each other. and to understand each other. And I felt that when I was a president here in Toastmasters Club. I had a team of people who have different approach, who have different experience, different expectations. And when you know how to deal with those people, that will lead the team to success. Thank you.
I'm not used to everybody turning my speaker off. We not only need to know how to communicate differently in a particular job, but also we have to remember that when we change countries, when we change communities, it may be different. Even in Russia, from East Russia to Western Russia, the language, the barriers, the conversations, and how they're understood could be different. So it's important we think about what you spoke about today. Thank you very, very much. Okay, we have had 3 speakers. I need a report from my timer. Mr. Timer, will you give me a report on my 3 speakers, please?
Yes, so of all the 3 speakers, 2 of them are qualified. And Toastmaster Lucina Anastasia, she spoke for 4 minutes 36 seconds. Toastmaster Valeria spoke for 5 minutes 52 seconds. And Toastmaster Anastasia spoke for 6 minutes 33 seconds.
Okay. So according to your timing, Anastasia is not eligible for voting, right?
Yes. If 5 minutes is considered qualifying, it's not. But according to our country, it's qualified. So I don't know how you.
Okay. Technically, it's supposed to be from 5 to 7 with a 30-second grace. Less than 5 does not qualify. Mr. Ballot Counter, Mr. Alexander, is our balloting ready?
Yes, the balloting ready, and I think we discussed that below 30 seconds, below 5 minutes is also eligible. So I think we should allow Anastasia to participate today.
Yeah, we had decided for 30 seconds less or 30 seconds over.
This club decided that. Okay, and my apologies. I go to many different clubs. This is the first one I've heard of that accepts less. If that's the policy, we'll certainly include it. So Anastasia is eligible, and she will be on the list of ballots. My mistake, as I said, this is the first club I've heard doing that, but we will follow what the club does for sure. That's great, because that's what she understands. No problem. If you will all go to, I believe it's in the chat box. Is that right, Alexander?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you'll go in the chat box and find the ballot opportunity there for best speaker poll, click on that. And when you do, it'll pop up, and then you can vote on which one of the 3 that you thought did the best job. And after you have done that, we're going to come back and we're going to be taking a break. And we will be going away for 10 minutes. I apologize earlier that something that you need to understand, when Walter was introducing me earlier, he said I'd been a Rotarian a long time. I took a 25-year break out. This is my first time that I've been Toastmaster since I've come back from the 25-year break. I've done the other jobs, but I haven't done Toastmaster. But there's not an excuse, just to let you know, it's been a long time since I did Toastmaster. I would ask all of you, instead of me telling you what the time is now, I would ask you to look at your wall clock or your cell phone or your wristwatch, whatever you're going to use for a timing device. Look at the time that's on there right now, add 10 minutes to it, and we will be back here and running again in 10 minutes. We'll see you all in 10 minutes. Let's take our break. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And since we started the break, may I first just have a quick interruption by announcing that here in the club, we decided not to discuss such topics as sex, religion, or politics. As well, I would kindly appreciate no racism mentioned based on the skin color or wherever other characteristics people may have. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Savik, where are you from in India? Vic, oh, he must, okay, he must be gone.
Check on.
I was curious because I've been to a few of the Indian clubs and I didn't know which one he was from.
I hope I wasn't badly understood when I said about that guy that because of his darker skin, I had some preconceptions. It was just something that popped into my head. I'm not saying that the preconception is right or that I stand by it or that I think it's a good thing or something. It was just something that I thought of.
Vladimir, no offense taken. Every one of us who are from a different country here can take you and show you somebody just as bad looking in their own country. I'm sure every country has them. So we didn't take it as an offense, but certainly we just need to be careful when we do speak as to what words we choose to use and how we say it. But certainly I don't think anybody is offended by the little bit of comment you made. But we can show bad people everywhere. I mean, my goodness.
No, if there's anything negative, then that would reflect badly on me because I would have this, so.
No, you're all right. No problem. We just something that needs to be understood. And Anastasia just wanted to make sure as past president that she wanted to point out, which was great. So Vic, are you back on? Where are you from in India?
Me?
Yes. Yeah. You're from India, right?
Yes, I'm from India. I currently work in Gujarat. I work for this oil and gas refinery called as Reliance Industries. So,
in what city again? I missed it. City?
It's called Jamnagar. It's close to Ahmedabad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I was at two Toastmasters in Pune twice in the last month. So I went to their club. So I try to hop around different countries and meet different cultures and visit Toastmasters. So if you will in the chat box, if you will put in either your club information or your email address, I will contact you and see about stopping by your club in the future. So you'll put that in the chat for us. Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question, Michael, since you haven't said anything for a second? Does anybody have any problem when we're filling in the poll? Because when I try to do it from my desktop, it always, and this is multiple places, I get an error message, so I have to use my phone. I wonder if anybody else has had any problem.
Mine works fine.
Mine work like advertised.
It works.
It works perfect. Sorry.
I wasn't smiling when I typed it in. I think that's the problem. I have to smile.
You should. Gotta smile more.
I have a question. Hi, Elisabetta. I think you joined us a little bit later. Just want to warm welcome to you as well. Not sure I've seen you before. You want to have some introduction words? Where are you visiting us from?
Yeah, hello. I'm new. I'm from St. Petersburg.
Oh, okay.
I just saw an advert online, so decided to join.
That's good. Where did you see that?
On the Russian network VK. Kontakte.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought somewhere on Nevsky or something, no?
No, I haven't been there.
We need to talk to our PR detective.
Have you, Elisabetta, have you been to a Toastmasters club ever before, or this is your first experience?
No, I haven't. I was just surfing the internet for speaking clubs. And I found you. So this is my first time, and I don't know anything about your club. So if you could tell me.
Can you share your email in the chat, and then we can follow up and send you lots of details.
Okay.
I sent a lot of spam.
Yeah.
Not spam. We got a big stack of propaganda.
Yeah. You know how to put your email in the chat? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. You want to everybody does. Yeah. Now we got.
I think I do. I think I should just send it to everyone.
Yeah, she should just.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Put in the chat.
Okay.
No, but yeah, it's privacy, I guess.
You can send it to Walter.
No problem.
Don't send it to Michael. Don't send to Michael.
Don't send to Michael. You can send to your mother. Your mother is okay. Send it to her.
Michael, no offense.
No offense.
That's good.
No. I'm my grandfather. You know, Walter, is something you don't know that you haven't been here that long in St. Petersburg. When I used to work with the October Railroad, the railroad here in St. Petersburg, there for 4 years working with them. And they gave me a nickname. And when they gave me a big certificate and for all my help, they put her, congratulations to our crazy American grandfather.
Oh,
so
yes. Okay, but it's too long. We need to invent something shorter.
Yes, yeah. SILLY, that's much shorter. It's easier. So.
That's good to know. We're going to pick up on that. Elisaveta, you want to share, if it's possible, I don't want to go into too much private details, but what your background is in St. Petersburg? You're studying, you're working, you're traveling, you're...
Yeah, I'm a translator, English-Russian translator / interpreter, and I've been working in the St. Petersburg State University for the past year, but now I'm quitting.
Okay. No, that's good.
I'm looking for another job, so I don't really like it there.
So you might have experienced, I don't know when you moved, no, when you joined us, but probably a little bit later after Michael introduced the agenda a little bit, we have some different roles. One of those roles is grammarian, the person who's looking at critical English and correct English speaking. So, but I'm joking, this is just one thing. We have Irina, she's also a translator. She's not with us today. She's a member of ours. She's, I think, also an English translator and educator, and she loves that, so she can pinpoint a little bit. But that's definitely not the main reason. We have various roles, which you will see in the second half as well. You've seen the speakers for today. You have probably seen the timer. You have seen the Toastmaster, Michael, for today. And the other half, I will not tell you, so you'll be more surprised to pay attention to what's going on.
All right.
Good to have you on board. If you have questions, just write me or the other staff members and to find out more.
Okay.
Konstantin, you said you're now living in St. Petersburg. Is that right, or did I hear it wrong?
Yes, I am. It's my hometown, actually, but I used to work in Asia for the last 2.5 years. As many of you as I just discovered.
Well, you're now in St. Petersburg?
Yes, I am. I just moved here 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
welcome.
Where are you sitting? Can I see you? Can you wave? Oh, there we go.
Hey, waving out the window. Very good. Yeah, very
like
good. Yeah. Very good. You know, the theme of the day is talking about smiling, same way with telling something a little bit humorous, just like what Walter did there. It breaks the ice so quickly and gets people to relax a little bit, just saying something a little bit humorous. So for those of you who have a hard time smiling, you can also say something a little bit silly or whatever. So wave out the window. Okay.
Konstantin, where are you from originally?
Yeah, I'm Russian.
Ruski. He's a Ruski.
I was born and raised in Kamchatka, actually.
Boy.
Used to be a naval officer, but then we moved here. Then I was 6 years old, and I was raised here in St. Petersburg. So I consider it my hometown.
Welcome home. Okay, I got about 30 more seconds. So if anybody's busy doing anything around their local area, you might want to wrap it up. We'll be starting here in about another 30 seconds. I know we didn't start on time. We started about 7 minutes late, so we need to try and be on time with our break so we can continue.
Good.
Konstantin, did you say you were a naval officer or your father was?
No. My father used to be a naval officer. Then I was a kid. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to see you're back here. You didn't run away. Oh, that's a good thing. We're going to get into the second half of our session today. And we have the privilege of having a very, very dynamic person who's going to be our table topics master. I'm not sure how much the rest of you know about this guy, but he was in the Navy and he came to Russia. And he was one of the people who could speak some Russian, some English, of course, some of the Canadian French, but he found that he liked the people he met here in Russia as a Canadian naval person. He went away, did many different things, went to Shanghai for several years, was working in China, came here last year and decided to move to Russia with his Russian wife. Now, he's been around different parts of the world and traveled and seen a lot. So what he's going to bring to us today is from somebody who has seen the world and is now going to share it with us. So I'd like to turn it over to our Table Topics Master, Mr. Randall Eastman. Randall, take it away with Table Topics.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for that resounding and perhaps too long introduction to me. I am in love with this place and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here basically 1 year after I first joined this club. Today, Michael gave us a very interesting theme which resonates with me because I've watched my recordings of myself in the last couple of weeks and I found I look like this. And I think it's partially facial hair. Okay, I need to maybe shave a little bit more, so that's hiding the smile. But I find that when I'm speaking publicly, I haven't been smiling as much. And I can go like this, which is very artificial, but I need to do it more naturally. And after watching all of our speakers this morning or this afternoon, I've come to the conclusion that when you're smiling and giving a speech, it makes a huge difference and a huge impact on the person who's watching. So I had this idea, which came to me a few days ago. Actually came to me before I saw Michael's theme, and it just fits perfectly. So I think all of you in this room who are Russian know what smiliki are. Any Russians in the room not know what smiliki are? You know what smiliki are? Michael, do you know what smiliki are?
Yeah.
Michael, you're smiling. I know you're smiling. You know what smiliki are?
I'll let you explain it.
Smiliki are smileys, and smileys are actually emojis. So emoji is a word that comes from the Japanese for picture and moji character, and so it's a pictogram. It's a image that is also a character which displays a thought or a feeling. And research has shown that emoji are often misunderstood. And this you can see in this room. We've got a very multicultural room. We've got a very multicultural club as it is, and with visitors coming from all overseas. In some cases, emoji can be misunderstood, and it's related to how the emoji is designed and how it's interpreted by the viewer. It's cultural and it's contextual. And when an author picks an emoji, they think about it in a certain way, but the same character may not trigger the same thoughts in the mind of a receiver. For example, people in China have developed a system for using emoji subversively, so that a smiley face could be sent to convey a despising, mocking, or even an obnoxious attitude. So a smiley could have many meanings. And have you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, ever received a message with an emoji that you were unsure about? Hands up anybody who's received an emoji that didn't understand. What is that thing? So today we're going to have some fun with emojis. And if you were with us back in December, you will recall that Walter, as the Table Topic Master, had this very interesting session focused around YouTube videos. And as soon as he mentioned YouTube and video, everybody got enthusiastic. Eyes open, people woke up, and they were perched forward on their seats. They were much more engaged. So I thought maybe emojis will perk you up today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a slide. So I'm going to screen share about 5 seconds a slide, which has an emoji and a situation. And then you're going to have to run with it. You can reply to the message. You can explain what the message said, your choice. And some of these emojis, when you see them blown up, you may not recognize them. You may be familiar with them, you may not. So, Mr. Timer, we're going to be allowing we'll be targeting 1 to 2 minute speeches. And at 1 minute point, please show green. At 1 minute 30 seconds, show yellow. At 2 minutes, show red. And I would like to get some volunteers today. And if I don't get volunteers, I'm going to pick people. So if you can show on the screen, if you know at the bottom of Zoom, there's a reaction button. You can click a button to show put a hands up or thumbs up. Who would like to start? I see Rami. I'm just going to make a list of people here. So we have an order. So Rami number 1, Vlad number 2, Who's number? Michael's number 3. 1, 2, 3. Who's number?
Bimal's got his hand up.
Bimal.
Yes.
Bimal. We say Bimal or Bimal? Bimal?
Bimal. Yes. Okay.
Bimal? Okay.
Bimal.
Ariana's number 5. Alexander, I see number 6. I need 2 more, maybe 3 more. 2 more. 2 more.
Why don't you pick our new guest?
I'll pick.
Juliana is 7.
We can ask Konstantin. And Elizaveta? That was a hand movement there, so that's Elizaveta. Yes. Okay, that's 8. I might have 9, I'm not sure. One more person. Rami? What is Rami?
Did you pick Juliana? Juliana raised her hand 3 times.
Juliana is number 5.
Oh, okay. Okay. Don't see what you write. Cool.
Thank you, Walter.
Okay.
You're carrying well.
Everybody ready? So the rules of the game, of course, are 1 to 2 minutes. To be qualified for best table topic speaker, 30 seconds under, 30 seconds over is the maximum.
Is our timer ready? Got it? Okay.
I am sure he's ready. So here we go with Smiley. So first one is Rami. So Rami, I will show the slide for about 5 seconds, and then I'll stop screen sharing so you can speak.
Again, the rules. So what should I do?
So I am going to show a slide that has a smiley. So on the right-hand side, there will be a smiley. Well, let me just show you the slide here as an example. So first slide, here's the first slide. You receive a message, could be email, could be chat. Your mother just said something to you and she ended the message with this smiley. You can tell me what she said, or you can tell me what your reply is. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You okay with it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so now let me, oops, no, I don't want to do that. Let me stop the screen sharing. I've lost my mouse. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Rami, you're muted. You have to unmute.
Yes. So I start with the smiley, with the angel one.
Yep.
So my mother told me that you need to clean your room. And she sent me this angel face. And this is like a sign that it's something that I need to do. And she doesn't want to put for me a lot of pressure. So it's an easy way to imply that I need to do this regularly. She's trying to put this habit on me, which is great. Whenever she does these things, I do these things and I perform. These things happen on a weekly basis, and eventually it becomes a habit, and I start doing this on a regular basis, which is a very healthy way to get new habits set. Same like the cold shower. And thank you.
Randy, you want to unmute?
Sorry, second participant today is Vlad. Vlad, are you ready? You could be unmuted. So Vlad, a friend who you've been looking at, keeping an eye on at the office, just sent you a message and ended with this smiley.
What do you mean by eyeing? I mean, interested, I don't know, looky wise, or like eyeing because he made a mistake, or I want to take his job or something?
Your choice. Completely up to you.
Okay. So the problem, it's not really the message that I received from this girl. The problem is that my wife saw it. because you see the phone was on the table, and when the message came, it just popped up on the screen, and the wife saw it, and she said, who's that messaging you? Well, you know, it's that new girl at the office. So why is she messaging you kisses? And I said, I don't know. I was, my boss said that I'm supposed to be her mentor, but, you know, I don't really like her because I only have eyes for you, honey. Now, of course, my wife didn't really believe me when I said that. So I had to mail my colleague this email, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't know where you got this number. I think you have the wrong number. Now, the reality is I don't really like this girl because, yes, she's new. Yes, I'm supposed to be her mentor, but she's 64 years old. She's getting this job as for pensioners. For retired people, they get a second, if the pension is too low, they get this chance. Now, my wife doesn't really know this. All she knows is there's a new girl at the office and I'm her mentor. But the thing is, I'm trying to explain to my wife, you see, you have to trust me, right? If you don't trust me, then you really cannot guard yourself of me doing stupid things unless you trust me, because I can do it behind your back anyway. The point is, in a marriage or in any relationship, you need trust. So trust me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. I think the interesting thing about Toastmasters is people speak from their own personal experience. So I think we're all quite convinced that this happened to you, if not recently, sometime in the past. Okay, our third speaker, Michael, are you ready?
Ready.
Ready. Okay, here is your smiley. Your first message of the day ended with this.
Oh, how did I get so lucky? You know, I work hard and my colleagues work hard. And when we do, people ask us how we relax. And often in the evening, I like to pick up a little glass of some cognac and sit back and relax and enjoy. And it's very, very refreshing to do that. And then I sleep longer, I sleep better, and it's good. Well, I got a few buddies, and every once in a while, when we're supposed to go to work the next morning, I get this emoji. And when I get this, I know that last night somebody was out a little bit late, carousing the bars, drinking, partying, and now they expect me to cover for them, or they want me to do a little bit of their work in the morning because they don't feel good. Oh, I got a headache. Oh, I don't feel comfortable. Last night I drank too much. So instead of going through all their complaining to me, nowadays they send me this little party emoji so that I know that they were partying last night. Well, you know what? I try to be understanding and I try to cover for them and I try to do their work a little bit and help them, because someday I might decide to do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Again, I think these things really relate to what's happened to us in our lives in the past. It's cool. Number 4, Bimal, are you ready?
Yes.
You're ready. Okay, here goes. There goes your smiley. It's Monday morning and your boss just sent you a message with these smileys.
Yes, thank you, Table Topic Masters. It really is a Monday morning. It's a week first working day in also in our country in India, and I always waiting for the boss messages or about the boss guidelines, and I always try to keep very cool, because I am working for a company and company paid me. So any kind of situations I have to overcome, because challenges main thing. Without challenge, we cannot go ahead. So I always try to go ahead, whatever the boss messages. If it is a critical, if it is some desire, if it is some targeting, I always try to capture these messages, and I always try to smiling face. Whether it is adverse for me, whether it is not good for me, because smiling always changes even the boss mood. Boss is sometimes is a very stress mood, because boss have to do some work for the company. So I always relate with the boss mood, and I try to change our boss mood with my smiling attitude. So smiling attitude is a very great thing to change anybody, because you have to change your stress level. Stress level, if you overcome, you can solve any kind of problem, any kind of situations. I thanks to the Toastmasters of the day, Michaels. He chose the very nice topic, and we can learn from this topic very much. And she tried to explain everything. So I like these topics. I like manage. I also applied my smiling faces in my everyday life. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Bimal. Thank you very much. Okay, Eliana, are you ready?
Yes, yes, I'm ready.
Okay, here is your smiley. Your mother or your boyfriend or your professor just sent you a message and ended with these smiley key.
Wait. Oh, what is this? Why I'm so lucky? Okay. Friend. Okay, I guess it might be friend.
How will you reply to that message?
It's difficult situation actually, because it's difficult to understand what this less smile means. I guess like this. My friend would call, would ask me about some information of what I told him, and try to get some details like why would you lie to me? You've been this place with someone maybe, or why you didn't invite me and lie to me you've been somewhere else. So it would be like a detective story, and trying to cut me on lie, something like this. In these images would be, why did you lie to me? Or you shouldn't do like this, something like this, I guess. And my answer would be another emoji, like first one with this circle on the top. It's like, it's not true, I'm innocent. I guess that's all.
Okay, fantastic. Alexander Kim, are you ready for your smiley key? Smiley.
I'm not sure now. I thought I was ready. But after 6 speeches, yeah, not sure.
Okay, I'll give you a challenging one because you like challenges. You have just written a message and you've ended your message with this smiley. What did you say?
All right. So for the context, the person who messaged me was Vladimir's wife. She asked me if her husband is actually have a relationship with the lady in the office. And she asked me, can I vouch for him? Can she trust that guy? And obviously, I don't know that. all I know is that he always gets those kind of messages from the ladies all over the world. So obviously I sent to his wife a message that says, I'm not sure, I have a cold feet about him. So, and I ended, and I wanted to type in the cold smile, and that's what came up. Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Alexander. Good to have the connection with the previous speaker. Konstantin, are you ready?
Always ready.
Okay, let me explain your smiley. Your boss just warned you his wife might be calling to ask where he was last night. This seems to be a constant theme today. What do you say to his?
Oh, is it the smiling that is it this emoji that I'm sending to my boss, or the one that I received from him?
No, your boss sent you this smiley.
Ah, okay.
He told you his wife might be calling to ask where he was last night.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to him?
So if his wife would call me, I would rather say that, yeah, we was hanging out with my boss and we was discussing with him some paperwork regarding the important project. I was engaged in this project, and we was working hard until the very, very late time. And yeah, I would certainly cover for my boss, because he's the one who writes my who writes my paychecks, and to save my well-being, I will just shut my mouth up and tell everything that she needs to hear from me. Back to you, Master Table Topics.
Thank you. Okay, our last participant today is Elizaveta. Elizaveta, this is your first time in a Toastmaster meeting, so it's all new to you. I want to give you some context here for this smiley. Today, Michael is our Toastmaster of the day, and that means that he spent a lot of time preparing how to start, keep our meeting going, conclude our meeting in an organized fashion, and making sure that people are participating, etc. So he actually has a lot of work to do. This is a role that each of us as a club member will take from time to time, because we're all volunteering in each of the roles that you see today. So Toastmaster of the day is a big role. It takes a lot of planning, and it requires coordinating the efforts of all the other people on the team. So now that's the context. Now your smiley is this one. It's Friday night, so last night, Walter, our president, wants to know if you're ready to be our Toastmaster tomorrow. What do you say?
Okay, so if I send those emojis to Walter, that means that unfortunately I have been a bit under the weather, so I was probably indisposed, and my preparation for the next Toastmaster meeting isn't up to standard. So the first one means that I'm really, really sorry and ashamed of myself. And the second one means that I'm still not feeling pretty good. So I think this would be a kind of a warning that this upcoming meeting won't be as good as it's supposed to be, and probably there will be some unpleasant surprises, like coughing from me or wiping my nose all the time, but I'm still going to perform. I'm still going to do my job, even with snot all over the place and with a red nose. I'm just very shy. So that's the meaning of this message. Thank you very much.
And Walter, what would your response be? What smiley would you send in response?
Probably the icy one we had. And say, get healthy and safe soon. See you tomorrow at 2. I'm joking. I'm joking, Elizaveta. You're not a member yet, so you'll have probably 3 smiles with a heart from me.
But you're
Yeah,
qualified.
thanks,
You've got a big smile today. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Elizaveta, for joining us on our first meeting. Thank you, Rami and Konstantin, who may join us in the future as club members. And thank you to all of our guests from abroad who joined us today to participate. Now, we need to know from our timer if all of the candidates are qualified, which means they spoke for 1 minute. It should be 1 to 2 minutes, but if they were 30 seconds to 2.5 minutes, they're still qualified for our vote. Is that Dick?
Should I consider 30 seconds to be the qualification?
Yeah.
If that is the case, everyone are qualified. All the speakers are qualified.
Okay, so Alexander, if you can prepare a ballot.
Yes, you can find it in the chat right now.
Okay, if everybody could please take a moment to vote, and I hand the chair back to our Toastmaster of the day, who to me is over here, Michael. Over to you. Michael, you're muted.
I'm moving around the screen. I'm not staying in one place. I don't like to sit in one place too long, so I'm moving all over the screen, different locations. Everybody who has been a table topics person before, you know what needs to go in the preparation for table topics. Today, Randall gave a good example of putting time and energy into it and making it simple and fun. Let's all give Randall a round of applause for his job today. Randall, congratulations. Good job. Super. It's a challenge sometimes to come up with table topics that are going to make people laugh. And when Vlad was talking, I was almost crying. I was laughing so hard. So Vlad, I really liked your answer. It was really, really super. Okay, we're getting near the end of our meeting, and we need to turn it over to the general evaluator, who's going to introduce our evaluators, and then we're going to take a look at our speeches. We had 3 speakers. We need to get their evaluation. So our general evaluator is Olga. So Olga, if you will introduce your three evaluators, and we'll hear their evaluations.
All right, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Right, so the purpose of the session is to provide feedback, and this helps us to continuously improve our skills and grow, and to do so in a positive, supportive, and honest environment. So our first evaluator for today is Walter, who will provide an evaluation for Anastasia's speech for our first speaker. Walter, I will not take away from your message. Over to you straight away.
There's my mouse. Thank you very much, Olga. I'm gonna kick it off straight away. Dear Anastasia, I loved your speech very much. I have to say, one could see, or I could see subjectively, that you've prepared in advance. I like that very much. I very much and highly appreciated your adaptation to the online version. So you've chosen this to the background screen as well. It's the tiny bits which make a speech and an appearance perfect. So this one I've overseen, and I really liked it and appreciate it. I have to say that you're building up your speaking skills a lot by the fact that you are very comfortable with using your hands. You're very comfortable with structuring your speech. And what I have to conclude with, you've taken probably the task a bit too serious, because your task for this time was the time management pattern, to observe it and to make probably the speech as short and crisp as possible. This led you to a great organized and well followable speech, which I appreciated and admired it, because this is what I'm trying to do for about 3 years, to having a cold shower every morning. That's why I love it. However, you might risk your minimum section of being qualified, and where you could improve is the end. Due to the fact that timing obviously was a factor, this is like something where you almost missed the exit. You had the attention span throughout the entire speech. It was very well. You negotiated with your hands, with your gestures, with your voice. And then at the end, you say goodbye and off you go by. So it kind of is this thing where you make the mic drop and leave it to it is. I think to bring you to the very next level, you take away with you two things. The first thing is get up. You are at a stage where you want not only your hands to gesture with your audience, but as Nastya Lira also demonstrated today, you want to have your full appearance. I could see that. The second is take your time for the last sentence to make and land this plane safely according to your quality and style of your speech. Not to have the runaway effect, okay? But to carry the baby home safely. I think once you focus on that, you'll be just brilliant for the next speeches to come. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Walter, for your astute observations. I'm pretty sure that there are lots of takeaway useful messages that Anastasia can take away from it. Thank you. All right. Our next evaluator will be Caleb, who will be evaluating Valeria's speech, so a second speech. Caleb, over to you.
Hi everyone. Hi fellow Toastmasters, and a special shout out to Valeria in your speech. You shared about the body language of South Koreans. Oh no, you shared about survival guide for Asian body language, which is something that I can relate as an Asian. So I guess I was probably the right person to be the evaluator of your speech. I think you gave very interesting examples and your experiences of how you encounter the South Koreans using body language, and you were very engaging when you were sharing this speech, and that was what was very good about your speech. We could follow your speech. It was very personal. You mentioned about the South Koreans bowing the Asian culture, and then the angle. What was the angle you need to bow to someone of a certain context, or how do you bow to someone? You also gave us reasons why we need to bow and how we need to bow to different groups of people. I guess you use very good body languages and gestures to explain what the South Koreans do. So I think that's a bonus for your speech. And what I like about your speech was it was very easy to follow your speech because you spoke naturally and slowly. It was at a very comfortable pace for us to follow. So that was very good. That was the strength of your speech. And another thing that you did well for your speech was you structured your speech very well. So it was very easy to follow your points. However, there are some things you probably have to work on, probably using the right words for different contexts, maybe using the right lingo or the right vocabulary words. And also maybe if you rehearse and practice your speech, you'll probably know the points really well, and that will help you in your delivery of the speech. And I think what I actually share in this particular context was how the Russians are different from the Koreans in using body gestures. I think that would be very interesting because I think most of us know that Russians don't really smile, and they probably don't use a lot of body gestures. So you can actually show the contrast between how the Russians and the Koreans treat body language. And maybe to challenge yourself, you can use body gestures and maintain eye contact. Means you can actually look around the screen, although it's an online meeting, but you can move your eyes from side to side to make sure that the audience know that you're engaging them. You can be like the third speaker, Anastasia, where she stays away from the screen, she walks away from the screen, and you can look at the camera, and you're able to move around the screen because you have a bigger stage space when you're away from the screen. And you can also probably do more research to understand about what other people have to say about body language. And because by doing research and reading up more, it gives the audience more context, and it helps them know that you are the subject matter expert of the topic. So I hope that you will take these points and you'll improve in your future speeches. Back to you, General Evaluator.
All right. Thank you very much, Caleb, for your evaluation. Great points there as well. And I guess this is always my favorite part of evaluations, is that when evaluators give their feedback to the speakers, everybody can learn collectively from it. So it's absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much. All right, our third and final speech evaluator for today is Anastasia Lukina, who will be evaluating Anastasia Lir's speech. All right, Anastasia, over to you.
Thank you, Olga. Anastasia, that was a great speech. And first of all, I would like to note that delivering this speech by standing was a great idea. I'll also note that to myself. Next time I'll do it as well. I'll stand up. And I noticed that when you stand up, it makes you feel more confident and opens up your voice, which is very important. However, I understand that it's hard to maintain your focus on the small camera on the laptop. So I noticed that a couple of times you took away your eyes from the camera and were looking up or to the window. So I would suggest to pay attention to that next time, because it's hard to grab the attention of the person who is on the other side of the screen when you don't look at the camera. I noticed that you also told about your communication style and how it impacts other people. Now I know how to communicate with you. If I say yes, that it means for you yes. If I say no, for you it's no. I'm totally different person, but I will note that because we are meeting with Anastasia on Wednesdays. We have a little club, so yeah, I know how to communicate with you. And also, you used your hands to enhance speech. It wasn't chaotic, and your gestures were helping to emphasize some parts of the speech. That was great, I liked it. I'd pay attention on the vocal variety. In order to grab the attention of the audience, sometimes it's good to make the tone of voice lower, sometimes higher, or make more pauses, which I'm also learning. And in overall, that was a great speech you prepared. It was noticeable. And also the book you recommended is very interesting, and I will also put it on my list for reading. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Anastasia. Thank you to all of our evaluators for great evaluations. I'm sure our speakers got loads of value, and everyone else in the meeting as well. I would like to just ask that the evaluators get in touch with the speakers as well to give them so that they get the detailed evaluation, your notes that you've written up throughout, so that you can just share those for future reference. All right. With that being said, I would like to ask our timekeeper, Satvik, to give our times for the evaluations before we vote for best evaluator.
All the evaluators have been qualified for the day, and going to specific evaluator, Walter took around 2 minutes 46 seconds, Caleb took around 2 minutes 50 seconds, and Anastasia took around 2 minutes 22 seconds. So all the three evaluators are qualified for the vote.
All right. Thank you very much, Satvik. If everyone can please go to the chat box and vote for best evaluator quickly. I'll do the same, but yes. With that, I think while you're doing the voting, I think we can call up our grammarian for the grammarian's report. Walter, over to you.
Thank you very much. General Valerie, Olga, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm gonna try to make it short and crisp as well. If I've misinterpreted something as not being an English teacher and we have someone who's more qualified, don't hesitate to write to the chat, Elizaveta, whatever I'm saying here. Let me kick off with the word of the day, which I suggested for the day. Avarice it was, by the way, just in case you forgot. No one has so far used it, probably because it is too hard to use as I read this. The one time one could have used it is when Constantine was talking about his boss bribing him with a lot of money. I could recognize a spark of avarice in his eyes as well. So the euro or dollar notes came up. So just to make sure that everyone is aware of this word, just trying to emphasize what it is. Apart from that, let me just note down some things or tell you some things which I hear it in other people's speech for today. Other aspects, obviously, is plural, so use an S. Every time after a cold shower, so in Russian terms, I know that it's a classic, we need to repeat it all the time, that you'd use the articles more often than not. Foreigners, foreigners instead of foreigners. This is an emphasis thing, so it's always the first one, it's the foreigners. Words like and whatever, we know they can be replaced much better with furthermore, instead, apart from that, above all, and so forth. It always raises the level of your speech and the word of articulation, your style. Communicate instead of communicate. We've heard that as well. I love to overcome challenges because it's me, so it's not with an S. I not love to overcome challenges. Thanks to Michael and he, because it's a him. Cut a long story short, I think this is it. Oh, a last one. I often hear that as well. That's what I need to pay attention to. There's always something which comes to pay attention to something, so don't forget when you continue with that. Okay, this should be it from my perspective. I think we always raise the level for those who are also non-English speaking, and due to the fact that we have some English speakers, it's always good to have them with us. Thank you very much. That was from me, from the Grammarian.
Thank you very much, Walter. I think it's always good to have a grammarian's report to know what we're doing well, what we're doing not so well, and to improve in the future. So purpose of the feedback session entirely met, I think. Walter touched us on the filler words that we can replace with something better perhaps, but our counter will be able to give us more details on this. Konstantin, over to you.
Thank you, Olga. Today, guys, you are doing a good job, most of you. In order to keep your speech clear and sharp. So Michael gave us 2 ums, 2 R's, and 1 something other. Anastasia, the first, gave us 1 M, 2 R's, and she twice repeated something. Valeria gave us 4 ums, 2 R's. Anastasia the second gave us 8 N's, 9 ums, 1 so, and 2 repeat, and twice she repeated something.
My pleasure.
What?
My pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome. Randy gave us 2 ums, 1 so, and twice he repeated something. Olga gave us 1 1 so, and once she repeated an expression. Excuse me, that is Remy. Remy said 3 times and as a filler, once and that's it. Vlad gave us 1 2 so's, and 2 other fillers. Bimal gave us 2 ums. Elena gave us 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 ums and 1 so. And that is it. Giving back to you, Olga.
Thank you very much, Konstantin. Yeah, that's okay, another from me. But these words are so difficult to get away from, because when you speak, you kind of just join things together, and it feels so awkward to just stop and think and pause, but often it's actually a very effective thing to do instead of umming or sewing or repeating words, to just pause, think, and then continue. Thank you for telling us where we must watch out. I think we can all do better in this regard. Right, our final role is going to be delivered by our quiz master. And Yelena, would you please take over and also just give us a brief description of the role and what you'll be doing in this session? Over to you.
Thank you. Actually, it's my first time on this position. It was quite interesting for me. and kind of challenging. I noticed that I'm as a counter, I'm focused on numbers, and it's quite difficult for others might be. So my role is I will ask you questions about our topics and information you heard today, and I expect from you answers, and correct answers would be better actually. And you can type it in our chat, and I will announce who is the winner for it. So let's start. The first question is, what smile does according to Michael's presentation? Michael, it's, I know you know, but let it. Think you can type any guess. Let's see, maybe you will be lucky. Oh, come on. It was very easy one, actually. Of course, all of these correct, but some of them going to deep. No, it's easier. So
It's the theme.
Should we say the truth, Michael? Could you announce it?
Okay. Next question.
So the correct, yeah, you type it. It was Caleb, the first one who typed correct one. So second question is, how much does it take? Muscles to frown, and how much to smile? Okay, yeah, it's correct. Your guys. So the third question is, what description for PIEI manager system from Itzhak Adizes? Any idea? PAEI system. It's very nice system actually. I heard it before, and it was very nice to hear it from our speaker. Actually, I have a test for it. I can send it later if you want, and you can recognize who are you from this system. Yes, Elizabeth, you are right. So the fourth question is, how long you should take shower to have your depression treatment? How long? Yeah, Remy, you're right, and others also. And the last question for today is, how should you greet your boss in South Korea? Yay, you're right, guys. You're right. The only first question, why it was so easy? Come on. The only first question was the most difficult, unexpectedly. So I want to thank you, our Toastmasters, and especially Randall, because he let me to have this role today. And it reminds me my school times when I made some crosswords for school newspaper. So it was kind of similar. So thank you for today. Thank you for your answers. And I'll give my
Good job.
Thank you, Yelena. That was really great. It's awesome. These Quizmaster sessions are really nice because I think it makes sure that everybody pays attention and also just gives us a chance to think back to the meeting and really summarize in our minds, okay, what did we learn today? So thank you for that. Some great questions. And thank you very much to the whole evaluation team for your detailed feedback, to the speeches and to the meeting. I think this takes us now to the general evaluation report for the day. The way I'll structure this is I will start with the things I thought were done well, and then I'll go through what some of the suggestions might be for improving. Overall, thank you for a very enjoyable and successful meeting. I personally had a really great time. What I really liked at the very start was that the club president was there to greet everyone who entered the room and have a bit of an interaction before the meeting started. So it was nice to have that warm and welcoming presence in the beginning. It was also nice that Walter gave an indication of how long we have until the start of the meeting. I thought that was really good because it just gave us a chance to know where we are in time. I also thought that it made how the team was organized in terms of the Zoom tech. So that was particularly evident. Randall was asking who will need co-host privileges for screen sharing and so forth. I thought that was good that the agenda was outlined at the start of the meeting. And I liked that the Toastmaster of the day, Michael, that you are so prepared with your theme, that you got everyone active, involved, and participating from the start. I think it got everyone in touch with the theme. I thought the evaluation team was well prepared in describing their roles. They were comfortable with speaking about what their roles entail, which was great. I also thought that the break was a good idea because it gave people a chance to interact and it gave a chance for guests to ask questions. I also thought that the table topics was well run. It was very smooth and it interacted nicely with the theme. And it was great that everyone got engaged with the session. So those are all the things that I thought were great. I thought some of the following would be some suggestions for improvement. So although we were told how much time we had before the meeting did run late. We started at 2:06 as Mr. President told us. And this got us running about 10 minutes behind time for the rest of the meeting. I think this was due to us ironing out the technicalities of the meeting beforehand, such as who will be introducing whom. And I think Walter noted this down, but it will be useful to have a set of guidelines for who introduces whom and the club etiquette overall. I think it would also be helpful to have the final agenda circulated to the role play team beforehand, maybe 10 minutes beforehand, so that we can all familiarize ourselves with it. All right, so another suggestion, I think this was regarding the word of the day. Although it was a challenging word and it would definitely helped to expand our vocabulary, I'm not sure if it was very easy to incorporate avarice into the theme of smiling, because it has a more pejorative connotation to it. And I think it would have been a bit easier to use a word of the day, equally challenging word of the day, if it fits into the theme better, because we're already set up with the theme of smiling, and then we have to think about a more negative word. Also, finally, for the table topic session, I might have missed it. So if you did do this, Randall, then that's great. But the suggestion would be to just add how the table topic session also improves our skills outside of Toastmasters, that learning to think on our feet is something that we need to be able to do in our daily lives, and it helps us through. I think this is actually for overall all the role player introductions, is to just have an idea of how this actually relates to the bigger skill set that we try to grow in the world. Overall, thank you for a fantastic meeting. Thank you for having me. It has been a privilege being general evaluator, and looking forward to future meetings. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you very, very much. And you gave a very thorough response to the things that we need to work on. Obviously, we still have a young club with a lot of young, new Toastmasters in it. We're all learning. So the type of feedback you give us will be taken to heart, and we will work on making those things better. But doesn't matter if you're old school or new school, we're still always have an opportunity to improve and to make things better. So we really appreciate your comment. We have 2 minor things to do and we'll be done. I will give it back over to Walter so he can announce who the winners were for our best speech, our best table topics, and our best evaluator. But before I hand it over, I have one more thing to say. In America, there's an older actress who's no longer with us, but she was popular in the 70s and 80s. Her name was Connie Stevens. And this is what she said about smiling. She said, nothing you wear is more important than your smile. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Appreciate it. That is a very interesting fact for me because I don't know who the winner is so far. So I need to double check this with my team.
Let me introduce.
According to the agenda, it would be
let me do it. Let me do it. Walter, let me do it.
You'll do it. Hand over to you, Mr. Kim.
Thank you, Walter. As a tradition, our ballot counter announce
the
winners.
Very nicely. Cool. There it comes.
Okay, tell me if you see the white screen. Yeah, cool. That means that nobody won. I'm just joking around.
We miss a smiley.
So, guys, the best evaluator today is Walter Schwartz. Congratulations, Walter.
Wow!
Very impressive speech, very expressive, brutal. Like your speech very much. Next, we've got our best impromptu speaker.
Absolutely perfect.
This is Vlad. Absolutely perfect indeed. Smiles remove barriers, and I think during his speech we all removed our barriers because we laughed so much. And finally, the best speaker award goes to
You're a goddamn hero!
Anastasia Lukina, our hero of the day. When I watched her speaking, I just thought that she wasn't focusing on her task as a Toastmaster. She was just enjoying her job. She was just enjoying talking. And words cannot describe how I enjoyed her speech so much. So congratulations, Anastasia. That's it for me. Now I will give my word back to Walter. Walter, back to you.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you very much for the presentation of our fantastic winners of today. If you guys want, please drop us a line to receive a PDF or a document. Some of them collect them or want to have a piece of paper for it. Just type me or Randall a note and then you'll receive those as well. Apart from that, I would love to thank you very much to participate in this fantastic international, colorful in all aspects of humorous and weather-wise meeting. I would like to tell you and announce that we have our next meeting. It will be still online meeting on the 12th of September, same time, 2 o'clock, St. Petersburg time. So you can set yourself a reminder and to join this meeting as well. I highly appreciate your participation, and also for the next meeting, you can, and this is what we will do now in advance as well, set up some of the roles already so we can enhance, according to our general evaluations procedure, the process of getting the roles quicker and faster. I'm gonna do this with you in a minute. What I want to do is just to have a closing word to our new members, or actually not new members, but the guests joining us who are considering to become members. You guys are happy to attend as soon as you decide to become a member and apply for roles to be more fluent in also attending for the roles for speaking and evaluating, and bring this into your professional life or into your education life or your private life. You can do so after a couple of visits and then sign up, and then I think it's going to be $40 US dollars. I don't know the exchange rate, around-ish per half year, I think. Picking up on that, a gentle reminder to everyone that the new term has been just started. So every one of our members, please make sure that you contribute to the next half year of running this club as well. Me as well, I haven't paid still. After I've read this information. This should be my closing note to the official part. Everyone who wants to stay for the chat, please do so. I'm going to be here for another maybe 10 minutes, and I would highly appreciate the members to stay here for a minute or two so I can quickly chit-chat some of the bullet points as well. If you guys have some questions, you can contact me. As soon as my shower and toilet will be ready, my response rate will rise again. If I'm not responding, you're always happy to also contact my other team members, such as Michael and Nastya and Randall and whomever you want to have your questions answered. Thank you very much. Pleasure for joining you, and see you soon on 12th of September. Bye to everyone who's ready to leave. Cheers. Right, guys, if you want to speak to me, just unmute yourself. I have one